So, Maddie, the last 5 years for you have been, for you, relatively peaceful in the grand scheme of things. But that may not be so for long. You've been out hunting down books and taking some time in the country, and this morning you arrived back in London. Been at the house, unpacking your things. James has informed you that Irene has gone off to Brighton with a reporter, a private investigator, and a job agency manager to visit a sanatorium. James doesn't seem to know the details of exactly why they've gone there. He just passes the information on and asks you if you need anything whilst he's preparing for dinner.
No, I'm just going to reacquaint myself with the manor after unpacking my things. See if anything's changed since I've been away.
Not particularly. I don't think you've been away that long, so nothing's changed too much. You're partway through unpacking when you hear a knock downstairs on the door. The sound of James going to answer it. And a moment later, James sticks his head around the door and goes, excuse me, Miss Carter? Mr. Abernathy. No, Cecil is here downstairs. He was looking for Irene, but
give me just one moment and I will be down.
Okay. I'll put him in the parlor.
I grab my black shawl because I'm still technically in mourning, and I head down.
And downstairs in the parlor, you see the society's lawyer, young Cecil Abernathy, pacing around the front parlor, back and forth.
Mr. Abernathy.
Oh, sorry, I was after Irene. Is she around?
She's not here today. Is there anything I can assist with?
No, it was more just advice I was after. You see, did Irene tell you?
I just got back today
to Lucy Vane, and you see, I'm thinking that the Ward's party tomorrow night might be the perfect opportunity. Do you think that's a good idea?
First you must, to be polite, you must ask the host or hostess if that's permissible.
I mean, yes, but I mean, otherwise I've got to go to... I mean, I am going to obviously ask her father, but, you see, Vane House is... I don't know, that place makes me nervous, and I think I'll make a mess of it if I try and do it there, so I'm thinking if I do it at the Ward's party, then maybe that's neutral ground, and...
Yes, but then make sure that you ask Mr. or Mrs. Davenport to...
it's the Wards.
The Wards. If ask them if they have... If you can... how public do you want it?
No, I was going to, invite her to, I don't know, look at the stars or some roses with me or something, and then ask. It's a work in progress. I need to obviously.
It should be fine if you don't plan on everybody watching.
Okay. Right. So.
And quite a bit romantic, I think.
Good. That's what I was hoping for, because I mean I don't have quite. I mean compared to her, I have a decent practice with my office, but she's the heir to the Vane fortune. Like, I'm not sure I can compete with that. But... Right, well,
just take deep breaths.
Yes.
Relax, and it should go well.
You're coming to the party, right? I think.
I don't know anything about a party. I
Oh.
just returned today.
Well, I think Lady Irene said she was going, but
Okay.
I think most people. It's quite one of those like big events where it just seems to be everyone who's anyone, and many people who aren't really anyone are going.
If Lady Irene returns today, I'll ask her about it, and if I am able to go.
Right. Well, yeah, and thank you for your advice. I will write a. I will go and call on Lord and Lady Ward and see if I may get their permission. Thank you. Cecil, leaving his tea still mostly undrunk, makes his exit.
And I will return to unpacking my things.
Yes. As you do so, would you mind giving me a listen roll, please?
Yes. That was a fail.
Okay, so you unpacked your things, and shortly later, there's another knock at the door, and you hear James going to answer it. And this time, as James answers it, Mortimer, having finished your work over at the bookshop, you made your way over to Grosvenor Square, to the London Esoteric.
Yeah, I'll just knock on the door and
Mr. Davenport,
good morning.
Lady Irene and the others went down to Brighton, but Miss Carter's in.
Oh, fantastic. I was hoping to speak to Lady Irene about this book, but I'm quite happy to speak with Miss Carter if she's available.
Yes. I will go in first. Miss Carter, Dr. Davenport, that's the bookseller, Davenport Books.
That it is.
He's downstairs. He lowers his voice slightly. He's involved in a case with Inspector Barnes and Lady Irene and some gentleman that got murdered with a seance. So he knows.
Thank you, James. Is he in the library or the parlor?
I put him in the library.
Thank you. I will head down to the library.
Okay. Once I'm in the room, I'll be nosy at the books, just having a peruse as you do.
Yeah, these books that are on display here are some valuable books, and especially historical tomes, lots of first editions. Probably actually quite a few books on occult nature in there. Nothing that you've not seen before, nothing especially weird. I don't think would be in the library, just on the shelf. And you're still browsing the books when Maddie enters.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I was hoping to speak to Lady Irene. I was told you must be Miss Carter.
Yes, I am Miss Carter.
I'm assisting Lady Irene by... Do you know much about the case?
I only just returned a few hours ago, so I don't know anything that's been going on here.
Well, from my perspective, we've got a gentleman who's lost his mind, a butler called Henry Yates, and he stabbed someone through their chest, or through their heart actually, with a poker. And for some reason he turned up at my shop. You may or may not have heard of it. It used to be Blake's Books, but I've purchased and taken over the site.
Okay.
But the gentleman turned up at my shop looking for a book, Nameless Cults.
I hope you didn't give him one.
I don't have a copy of it.
Oh,
He
good.
seemed a little bit strange. He was moving much like a puppet, if you can imagine that, like jerky motion, as if he is on strings. He didn't seem quite himself. Not that I knew what himself was, and the fact that he had blood on his sleeve made me a tad suspicious. But I was curious because I've heard about this book, so I looked into it, and that led me here. And I spoke with Lady Irene about it.
Okay. I would be glad to assist. I don't know much of the actual case, but I've worked with Lady Irene on several cases before.
Yes, I was creating a duplicate of the book to trick him. And I think the plan was to apprehend him at some point. I think Lady Irene had been given a case by Inspector Barnes, I think he was. I've never met the gentleman myself, but all seems rather strange. But would you like to see my copy of the book I've made?
Sure. Yes, that might actually be a good thing for me to check it over.
Well, okay. And I'll open my bag and I'll reach out and take out 2 copies of the book. Okay, could you tell which one of these is the real book? Without actually opening them, because I've actually... these are effectively a hollow books. The copy I've done, I've only copied the outside. Due to time.
I am going to, without opening the books, check them over to see which one's the real one.
Okay, could you give me... Well... This could be an appraise roll, I think?
Yeah, appraise is the opposite of forgery.
Let's go for forgery.
Yeah,
that's a hard success.
So, looking
I actually got an extreme success when I made them, though.
Yeah, but looking both of these over, I'd say with a hard success. You know for certain neither of them are your copy of Nameless Cults. You are familiar with that book. You have spent hours poring over its content. Days. In fact, weeks probably, months, poring over its contents. So if either of these are Nameless Cults, they're not your copy of Nameless Cults. Either of your copies. But they do look like the same print run, it's just they're not your copies.
This is very difficult to determine which one is false. I do know that these look quite a bit like my personal copy.
What do you mean by your personal copy? I'll help you out. Both these are fake. I created 2 copies of the same book.
Very nicely done.
On the off chance someone realised one was a forgery, I wouldn't bother checking the second, I just assume it's the real one. A double bluff.
Very nice. Yes, I wouldn't have been able to tell between one or the other, but they do look an awful lot like my personal copy.
Yeah, I was not actually given a copy to copy as such. I just did it from... well, Lady Irene showed me a copy of the book, which I was not allowed to look inside. She was rather insistent on that. But just by looking at the cover, I was able to come up with something that looked similar to it.
A very good work to be done.
Thank you.
I'm going to crack one of them open. And they are blank inside?
Yep.
What are you planning to put inside?
Well, it was mainly... I buy and sell books, but I also do translations of books. I have a large number of unusual books in my own collection. I was quite interested in the Nameless Cults book. Seems a bit strange, but I was hoping possibly to make a copy of said book at a future date. But Lady Irene actually mentioned that she believed you would be rather opposed to said agreement.
She would be correct. It has led to quite a few troubles.
I've been told it has a trail of blood, apparently.
Hmm.
But I don't know a great deal about it. I think, I could tell you, well, nothing you probably don't already know. The book was originally done in German, and then I believe there was a printing run of English translation, but I didn't expect you or anyone would be interested to, how can I put it, sell a copy or simply exchange a copy, but I have a number of books in my collection you might be interested in. So maybe at a future date we could do some sort of exchange of a copy of said books. I'm trying to think. I was not completely honest with Lady Irene when I last spoke with her. She asked me whether there were whether there's anything left in the shop when I took over it. And there was a large number of occult books there, but it doesn't really take my interest, so I put them into storage. But I do buy and sell unusual books. I'm particularly interested in translating books from Latin. And there was a book you may or may not have heard of. I think I shall just double check. I've got it written down. I think it was called De Vermi Mystery, or something along those lines. It was, when you translate it from Latin, it means mysteries about worms. It's a rather strange book written by a German gentleman about supernatural goings on in the Arab world. I think it was originally done in 1542 or thereabouts.
That's interesting.
At a later date, obviously.
Yes, I'm still trying to get settled. I've been away for a few years.
Oh, have you had an enjoyable time?
I've managed to get some of my wits back.
I'd been told you had been unwell, but I don't know the details myself.
I had been incredibly unwell, to a point where I was almost admitted into a sanatorium.
Not the best places to go.
No.
If you're not mad when you go in, you'll be mad by the time you get out.
If you get out.
Very true. But at least you're much better now.
Yes. Which is part of the reason why Lady Irene didn't want you to read the books. They do play with your mind a little.
They're just books at the end of the day. I think I've read pretty much everything in my collection. Most of it's just nonsense mythology. I mean, that particular one I mentioned to you earlier seems to have an interest in necromancy in the Arab world for some reason. But all that is nonsense. The dead stay dead.
Indeed,
No, they don't.
Pardon?
No, not always.
Yeah.
There is a lot that you do not know.
That is true. I'm forever a student, studying and learning as much as I can about everything.
Aren't we all?
And it's at this point where you hear the rattle of a hansom cab drawing up outside as the away party return from their trip to Brighton. And night is fallen by now. It's late afternoon, early evening. And as it gets dark outside, you can see the lights in the library windows lit up. And just make out the forms of, there seem to be two people in your library. You can't really see who it is, but it looks like there's people in the house. As, the three of you arrive back at 18 Grosvenor Square. With your files and phonographs.
Oh, that was a fun adventure. Shall we come in for tea and debriefing? Even though I'm staring at the window.
Yeah, and you would have had chance to start having a bit of a flick through the medical files on your journey. You've obviously not got any kind of device to play the phonographs, so you don't know what's on those. But you've managed to read some of the files.
This Belfont guy seems to have been able to convince our friendly doctor there a bit of his particular sort of madness.
Are you having this conversation just in the hansom cab outside, or are you
in the cab? I think.
Yeah. So with these like, files arrayed on your lap.
Yeah, exactly. Like just spread out, and this is a lot of nonsense. Is it?
It's not nonsense.
They're talking about fish people.
They are.
Okay.
I could very much believe what was said in there. His sister, I was going to do a reading as an excuse for us to explore their estate once. And some of the images that came up, I could believe it, and her husband was in essence locked up and kept in captivity, and it was to cover her being pregnant.
I'll grab out a couple of pages and show them to you, and point at a line and say, he's saying that he's half fish person. Him and his sister. There's this passage of this Christian pastor that they brought in to help him, and after like a quarter of an hour, he's in the corner and saying Belfont tried to drown him. This is not making sense.
I told you previously that they had an ability to fill one's lungs with seawater on land.
There is no water in that cell.
That's my point.
Lady Irene, you all right in there? Do you want a hand down?
Oh, yes, we can continue talking about this in the study with copious amounts of tea and or whiskey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bo.
Collect the stuff and get in.
And yeah, Bo takes the carriage back around, and the horses around to the stable. And James welcomes the rest of you back to the house. And as you come in, you can hear the tail end of the conversation between Maddie and Mortimer from the library, as they are sort of discussing worrying events and the dead that don't stay dead.
Where did I just land in there?
Lady Irene's gonna walk right in. It's like, Maddie! And come straight over.
When everyone arrives, I'll stand up. I'm assuming I would have been sitting down at some point.
Mm-hmm. I will also stand, and when Irene comes over, I will extend my arms to grasp her hands.
Yes, that's exactly. Did you have a nice stay in the country?
It was very nice, and I did get around a little bit as well. As I was just telling Dr. Davenport, I did get some of my wits back.
That's good. That's good. And there's definitely that squeeze that appreciate. James, would you make sure to get a kettle on?
Yes, right away.
So I hear you're on a case?
Indeed. And she's got this kind of beaming smile. You've been quiet for so long, but yes, indeed, you're on a case. There was a murder. Here's a strange prismatic cube that this person had. Possible body swap / possession.
That sounds like a possibility.
Mm-hmm. The butler did it, whether it was the actual butler or whatever's inside it. The particular individual was at Albrook Sanatorium, which is where the last surviving member of the Bellefonts is, if you remember.
The Bellefonts? I thought they all perished.
No, one tried to blame us, had a freak out, and got himself locked up because the story didn't make any sense.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to take a look at these, miss, and I'll just hand over Belfont's file.
Oh, I know some of their history.
Are you handing over just Belfont's file, or both Belfont and Bidwell's files?
Just Belfont's for now, because that's what we're talking about right now, I think.
I know about what they were dealing with. I don't think I need to read it just this moment. I don't want to be reminded of it at this second.
Do you mind if I have a look through? I've quite an understanding of medical documents.
Sure. I'm a bit worried on the way the doctor reacts to what the patient says there, but there you go.
Indeed, it seems like the doctor has become intrigued and/or invested in the individuals of the deep.
So the doctor's going mad as well.
I wouldn't be surprised by it. That's what the Bellefonts were known for doing.
Now that is a name I do recognise. The Bellefonts, involved with shipping on a large scale, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lady Irene might notice there's 2 copies of the Nameless Cults on the table as well, or a counter. I would have left them there whilst carrying on the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a look through the medical documents. Is there anything need to roll, or?
So there's quite a stack of them, and some of them are written in code shorthand. Some of them are just really bad handwriting.
It's doctor's handwriting, I understand.
It's doctor's handwriting. You can make me a medical roll, actually, to see if you can gain any extra.
Chances are I'd look at the first one and the most recent ones. That's what I'm interested in.
This is just the Belfont file, is it? Or have you...
Let's have a look. Just see how to roll.
Are we also going through the Bidwell file as well?
Whichever I was handed.
It would have been the Bellefonts.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still a small file in Franco's hand.
Oh, yeah. I've actually failed a medicine roll there.
This Dr. Lake has some of the most appalling handwriting you've ever seen, and it gets worse as the document goes on. Like, it starts out fairly solid, and then it scrawls and scribbles, and some of the pages look like they've been dipped in water and dried out again, like the ink's run down the page.
Could I just spend 14... Is it 14 luck?
Yeah, if you want to make that a success. So this is for gaining anything above and beyond what's written in the handout.
Oh.
You should be able to see.
I'll just leave it as it is. I'll just go with what the handout says. You never know when I might need that luck.
Yeah, so there's like some formal documents at the front, and then most of the rest of the file is pages of Lake's personal notes on his patient. Of which I've included some subsections. There's a lot more, and most of it is along those lines.
I'm just reading through it now.
Yeah. As you're perusing through that, James enters back in the room, brings tea for you all, and yeah.
But yeah, it seems like the Belfonts got to the doctor a little bit, and now the doctor is trying to associate with unknown beings that live in the water.
That's not... We can't let that happen.
No, of course not. But that's also why we stole his notes, so that we could figure this out.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does look that way.
Morgan?
I was wondering if or Franco Bernice would have told us about Davenport, that Belfont mentioned his names while they were discussing it.
Franco would not have said anything about that. Would just listen and wait for a while and think about whether that's important. Because Mr. Davenport has already said that he knows that name very well. And I'm assuming that these two have like a bit of an antagonistic relationship right now. Though I'm not knowing enough to have a foundation on any opinion.
And you wouldn't have said mentioned this name, that you heard this name from Belfont to any of us while the trip?
I think I told you guys. I didn't tell it. I just don't
I think
pick
you
it up
might
when we're here.
have mentioned it before or after you spoke to Belfont.
Yeah,
if remember
I
correctly.
mentioned it after.
So Morgan, you would have known the name came up.
All right.
I would just not, bring it up right now.
I don't actually recognise you. Perhaps I should introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mortimer Davenport, and I say this as I'm speaking to Morgan. I've never met Morgan before.
Nice to meet you. And I put up my face a little up like this, and you see I'm totally disfigured on my face. It's a little hidden bit with the cap, but you still can see from the eye until the face, until the neck. I'm totally disfigured, and I've got. But I'm well dressed, and I've got colors. I've got a scarf from the colors of the Black Watch, so blue, black, and green. So that's how I'm presenting. Yeah, my name is Morgan D. McRushley. I'm a private investigator.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Out of character, I'm just wondering, is there any way I can recognise the nature of the scarring on his face?
I'd say that a medical role seems...
Because of being like a battle surgeon, basically, in the British Army. So I'll see if I can fail this one as well.
No, this is a success. So, I mean, it doesn't... Well, Morgan, what does it look like? Does it look more like burn scars or more like shrapnel marks or something else?
Something else. It's like the skin has been totally shredded, has been mended together, but not quite good. It's like they couldn't mend the skin quite well, actually. But it's like you could say claw marks, but without really recognizing it. But it's more like claw marks.
Not like a tiger marks, for example.
Yeah, you could say like that.
You
But
served in India and had to treat injuries from tigers and things like that, so...
it could look like. I will say that.
Potentially more rips than anything else.
In that, yeah.
It's definitely a pleasure to meet you.
Same. And sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Like you heard, I'm Morgan D. McCrashley, saying to Miss Maddie Carter.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Maddie Carter, the grandniece of. It's still a little bit painful. My uncle used to own this manor, this estate, and I've been working with Lady Irene for a few years on specific matters.
This would be the moment where Franco notices that he's been terribly impolite by not introducing himself, and be like, I'm Franco Brindis. Pleasure to meet you. Yeah.
He's the Snoop. He works for a newspaper, and we kind of met under not exactly antagonistic circumstances, but he tried to snoop the house. Bo scared him off, and then he broke into the crime scene, and me and Dr. Davenport found him there.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like we're gathering a good-sized group to delve much deeper into these matters, which is nice to have more than 2 or 3 people working on.
Indeed.
It still seems like a lot of. I mean, I'm completely fine with writing stuff like that in the newspaper, but believing it myself seems kind of off.
What do you think of these books, Lady Irene? I've finished them. And I'll gesture to the books on the table. Would you be able to tell which one's the real one?
And she kind of looks at them. I guess a praise roll? She does not have a lot in her praise. It's 5.
Either one of them could be the real one.
Either. You did your job very well.
Thank you. These are both copies.
There was definitely this. You did your job very well, and their hand went to the hilt for a second, and then both copies, and she tries to gently put it as a slide motion off the. That's amazing.
I thought it'd be worth having 2 copies, because if somehow he worked out one was a fake, he would assume the second one's the real one.
That's
without
very
checking
clever.
it. Thank you.
You're a smart one there.
So, what is the plan?
Well, I assume you haven't heard from.
Not yet. Henry Yates, I think his name was.
Indeed.
Although he was using the name Bidwell.
No, you haven't seen any sign of him since I think it was only yesterday morning when he stumbled into your shop. You've not seen any sign of him since, no.
I'm still waiting for him to turn up. I'm hoping he'll turn up in the morning, and then I can call him and basically tell him I'll have a copy by the afternoon if he would return the following afternoon, and contact yourselves. And set a trap, effectively, for him.
Interesting.
Are you going to leave them blank? Or are you going to have he's going to want to look through them, whomever he is.
I'm going to leave him blank because we just need something that looks that way to get him to drop his guard, I'm assuming. I think the plan is to capture him when he turns to collect the book.
Indeed, that was the idea, is for us to capture, potentially question, and obviously turn over to the authorities so that the case could be solved and closed. Hopefully find this prism that is still missing and put it in safekeeping.
So, if the plan is, is there anything else you would like to do that evening before everyone retires for the night?
No, but I would like to mention how long has gone from when I started creating the forgeries and now? Is it pretty much a day?
About a day, yes.
Because knowing we've got to capture this person or restrain him, I would have tried to purchase the sort of equipment that you'd use to restrain someone in a sanatorium.
Okay.
The sort of things they'd use to basically strap someone down.
Yeah, you've only had a day sort of to do the acquirements. So
True.
Could you make me a credit rating roll? See if you've managed to have the money and connections and stuff to acquire this within the time.
Let's see, where's that one? Oh, I don't think I've got much in this. Oh, there it is.
Essentially a conglomerate of money and connections, and you are 6 points short of a success. So it's up to you. Do you want to let that failure stand?
No, I'll go for that. I think it'll be handy to have, so I'll spend
Okay.
6 points a lot.
Yeah, in which case you have acquired essentially a straitjacket, probably.
Yeah, basically something to restrain him when we try to capture him.
Okay.
Make transporting him easier.
So, with equipment supplied, as I said, yeah, is there anything else you would like to do that evening?
Well, Franco is probably gonna write an article about Monsieur Belfont and just have like a complete bullshit story about him being completely rational and some secret cabal keeping him in that sanatorium. Something along those lines. Not really to help him, more because I think it's gonna sell.
I mean,
the
conspiracy theories sell well.
Perfectly well, right? And also he's the one heir of that big family that's left alive.
Yeah.
That's gonna go away like hot bread. Yeah, he's just writing that down. I'm not sure whether he'll be able to, get it printed yet, but he's busy writing.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think Irene would be spending the evening filling Maddie in and trying to get information from Maddie. And catching up and all that.
I am not opposed to that.
Okay, and Morgan.
I think Morgan is going back to his office/house, and he's going to drink a little because about what he heard, souvenirs are coming back.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm a little. My mood is black, my mind is black, and the coffee and the whiskey I'm drinking, I think, will be black as well.
And who is keeping the medical files and the phonograph recordings?
If there's nobody that's desperately trying to get them, Franco will keep them.
I'd be leaving them there because I didn't take them.
I think Irene might be like, well, we have a phonograph here. So we should keep them here. That would be her argument.
We should listen in. I mean, we have time, don't we? If we have the necessary technology here.
Maddie, do you want to listen to these recordings of the Belfonts? Or would you prefer...
Not before bed. We can listen in the morning.
All right.
So,
And
Sure.
it's very, very Irene's like what Maddie says goes.
Okay. Well, I'll be back tomorrow morning then. And wish you good night. And Franco will leave.
Okay, so as you depart, you go your own ways and return, those of you who don't live in Grosvenor Square, to your own houses for the night. And I would like Maddie, not Maddie, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong M again. I would like Mortimer and Irene to both make me power rolls, please. Okay, so that is an extreme success from Mortimer and a failure from Lady Irene.
Yep.
So night falls, you go to bed, the lights are turned out, and then in the dark, cold middle of the night, Irene, you're woken up to the sound of James frantically knocking on your bedroom door.
James?
Oh, come quick. The Inspector Barnes, he's downstairs.
All right. And she's putting on the house coat and, she's making herself semi-presentable, but it's obvious that she's just come from bed. Inspector Barnes?
Yeah, he's downstairs. He says it's urgent.
All right. I'm heading down.
He ushers you downstairs to where there's a frantic-looking Inspector Barnes standing in the hallway. We have to find some way of stopping it. You've seen what's happening out.
What?
It's Bidwell, something. Whatever he was doing with the seance. You not seen?
No. What?
They're coming through the sky.
And she goes to look out the window.
And as you look out the window, you can see the dark city of London and the night sky above. And all the stars have gone dark. And against the night sky, you can just see what almost looks like this long tear through the sky itself. And beyond it, you can see stars that are not your own. Constellations that make no sense and do not match. And then you see some things moving against the night sky. Long, sinuous forms with legs writhing like cilia on some kind of strange water creature that you might see under a microscope. These long, shifting, sinuous forms. And Lady Irene, I would like a sanity check from you.
Of course, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. I'm not having good luck today.
No, could you please roll me 1d6, please?
Of course. I will happily do so.
That is a loss of 6 points of sanity. Therefore, I need an intelligence check from you here, please.
Alright.
This is one where you really would like to fail it.
Okay. And now that you said that, I'm probably not gonna fail it.
So, Lady Irene, you are currently suffering a bout of insanity here. So, could you give me a D10 roll here?
Yeah, I can give you a D10.
Okay, that's a 1. And Maddie, could you give me a listen roll, please? Here.
That is a fail, but I can spend a couple pieces of luck for that. That's 6.
Okay. So, Maddie, you are awoken suddenly in the middle of the night by the sound of screaming coming from Lady Irene's room.
I will don my house coat and rush out my door to see where she is. What
It
is
sounds
going
like it's
on?
coming from her room.
Her room. Okay,
Yes.
I will go to her room.
As you push open the door, you see sort of twisting and turning, like in the bedclothes all tangled up around her, Lady Irene just thrashing and writhing back and forth. Like things on the bedside table knocked aside as she's just mouth open, just screaming.
Is there a pitcher of water in the room?
Yes.
I will take it and dump it on her face.
Okay. Lady Irene, you awake. And you find yourself with this confused sense of you can't remember all of the dream, just snatches of it. But while so much of you wants to file it away as just a dream, nothing to worry about, there's some deep sense inside of you that there's more to it than a simple dream. That your mind had brushed up against something. You don't know what, and you don't know quite how. But while that was a dream, there was an element of truth to it. I am going to return 3 points of your sanity to you because that was a dream, but the net loss of 3 will remain. And you are now awake and wet.
And I'm going to help untangle her from her blankets.
There's immediate kind of rush to check the window. If there is a window in Irene's room, she's...
The stars of London, the normal night sky, is all there, as it should be.
And she kind of sinks.
I'm going to light a couple candles in her room. Because it is never good to talk of these things in the dark. What happened? A nightmare, or...?
Yes, no, maybe both.
What do you remember?
Spectre was there. There was something terribly wrong. He was like, "Don't you see?" And then I looked out the window and the stars were gone. It's like something had punched a hole through the sky. And there were different stars and things.
Keeper, does this ring any bells to me?
Please make me a mythos roll.
Something about Bidwell causing it.
Fail.
No,
Bidwell?
this isn't matching up with anything. You can't really match up anything specific from what Lady Irene recounted. There's just a little prick in the back of your mind that somewhere once you might have seen something related to this. but
All
it's not quite there in your mind at the moment. You have to go and like do
Read some
more
books.
research.
Yeah. Who's Bidwell?
The man who died. The man with the cube and...
Oh. Has anyone been to his house?
We found his journal. There was a seance there the night he died. Not one of mine. You know, Miss Madame Lacroix.
Mm-hmm.
There was something in the journal. The cube showed him a place. Cup, something like that, and he wanted to go back there. It's why we think, or at least why I think he wants the book of nameless cults. Something in there, but I've looked and I haven't seen anything.
There's something in nameless cults that he wants?
That's why he went to the bookshop. That's why he requested the book, is that he was demanding that book, and that's how we were going to use to catch him.
Give me just a moment. I'm going to go back to my room and grab my copy of Nameless Cults.
Okay, you go and retrieve your beloved and feared copy of Nameless Cults.
In the process, while she's leaving, Irene is taking off water-soaked clothes and trying to dry. So there's a potential that Maddie might come in and Irene is 3/4 naked.
Maddie really does not care at this point. She's got the book open in her hands as she's walking into the room. Irene is... And I open the book. I turn to the table of contents. Do any of these seem to match what your dream said? And I turn the book towards her and I look at her face.
Yeah, it's not so much a table of contents as a list of the topics it covers. But yeah, it covers various cults and various societies, some of which may be real, some of which you know to be real, some of which you aren't sure if are just made up.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to spend some time going through the book and looking for something specific, you can roll against the book's mythos rating here. That's what you're trying to do.
Yes. Sorry.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah. That's just a D100, and that's the number you're trying to beat here is a 36 for the translation. Hey.
That was a 9?
That was a 9. So as you are browsing through the book, you don't... Oh, sorry, I muted myself there. That's not what I meant to do. How long have I been muted?
So that was a 9, was the last thing we heard.
So that was a 9. So as you are browsing through the book, you don't find anything specifically mentioning Yakub or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the part that sort of starts to discuss, let me just get my names right. The Starry Wisdom Cult.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brief mention there to worship with the intent of opening doorways and gateways to far distant places. And that the cult claimed that by petitioning their god, they could open up doorways and using their limitless knowledge of the universe endowed on them by this god of theirs. It's a fairly recent cult, actually. No one knows exactly when they were founded, but they've been active as recently as the... let me just get when this book was printed. Let's double check. Things aren't happening in the future. In the 40s, I believe. That being, of course, the 1840s. So, this is... some of this is even actually a note added by the translator, actually, rather than the original writer of the book. It notes that this cult is still active at the time of this translation being printed in 1845. They're still active over in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island?
Yes, not very local. But the chapters that proceed talk more about, opening gates and which gods to beseech to open gates. And they mention in particular, sort of by roundabout means, the Horned Man.
Okay.
And there is even a ritual listed there to contact and call upon the Horned Man.
Mm-hmm. I see that there. Yes, I think this is the one that he wants. From your dream and the information of this book, he wants to come upon the Horned Man to open a portal to wherever he wants to go.
This is getting out of hand, Maddie. I mean, it was different when, I could touch things and focus on them, but now things are happening and I'm asleep, and this isn't even the future or the past, or I don't know what's going on anymore.
I think if he gets a hold of this book, what you dreamed will come to pass.
Need to stop him, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll be getting any more sleep tonight.
I close the book with a snap and tuck it under my arm. What? I look for a clock. What time is it?
It's probably around 1 in the morning.
You should try to sleep. I'm sorry I woke you up the best way I could. Your pillows are soaked.
I will. I guess I could adjourn to the library. I think
You have other rooms in the house.
Yeah.
You have guest rooms.
I will find a comfy guest room and I will try.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you return to sleep, we will pick up with everyone come morning. If that's alright, unless anyone has any secret midnight activities they would like to do. Alright, in which case we'll be back in 10 minutes after the mid-roll, which unfortunately I have not updated, so it still is slightly too fast. And we are back. So, after a debatably peaceful night's rest, morning comes. Spring sunshine streaming through your curtains. And what's everyone up to this morning? Where are you spending the morning?
I am probably going to be helping Irene with setting up the things that we need to listen to the phonograph.
Mm-hmm.
Franco would be immediately, basic hygiene and then leave towards the LIS. Getting there.
You're heading over to Grosvenor Square? Morgan?
I'll be having a real headache. I don't know why. Maybe too much drinking. But I'll clean myself, get dressed, and go quite directly to the London Esoteric Society.
Okay, and Mortimer?
Well, I'll just be getting up and opening the shop as normal for another normal, sane day.
Okay. Well, as the others are setting up sound equipment and heading over to the London Society building, Mortimer, your shop bell rings as a figure stumbles in. Not the figure you saw stumble in the day before yesterday. This is... I think the polite word is saying he looks a bit of a ruffian. He's wearing this raggedy coat. His clothes are dirty and torn and worn. He's got this straggly beard, unkempt, unwashed hair, and a strong odour of human feces and alcohol.
Lovely. Is he moving the same way that Henry Yates had in a sort of jerky manner?
Make me, whatever role you think is suitable for observing this. I think that could be a spot hidden. But I'll accept other offers.
Spot hidden sounds about right.
He looks somewhat more in control of his limbs than Yates did. There is a certain something about the way he's moving that does remind you of Yates.
Okay. Good morning. Can I help you at all?
Nameless cults. Do you have it yet?
I'll have it this afternoon. I've already made arrangements and I should have it shortly after lunch today.
Oh, good.
I'm assuming you're going to return this afternoon then?
Yeah. Afternoon.
You look a bit different from last time I saw you.
Bidwell sent me.
Oh, of course, yes.
And he limps on out the shop.
Okay. Trying to think now. I'm tempted to just close the shop up now and head over to meet the London Esoteric Society again. Unless my assistant's arrived as well and she can run the shop in my
Your
absence.
assistant's around if you want her to run the shop.
Yeah, I think that's probably best. I'll have them run the shop, but I probably...
So yeah, Catherine.
Yes, it is.
Miss Butterfield will take care of the shop whilst you're away.
But I'll be back before lunchtime and she can have the afternoon off if she wishes.
Thank you, boss.
And I'll just head on out.
Alright. So you probably arrive over at the London Esoteric Society not long after Franco and Morgan get there. And just as Irene and Maddie have got this slightly experimental sound playing device set up, it's taken a bit of fiddling around with. It's not the most reliable piece of equipment. You have to be careful with it. It doesn't, like, if you nudge the table, it then suddenly won't work. It's got a long way to go. But yeah, the others are trickling into the house.
Maybe Irene has had her typical 7 cups of tea before guests arrive, so...
You can consider yourself all in the same place now as Mortimer arrives.
Good
Excuse me,
morning, everyone.
James. Oh,
Yes.
good morning.
Yes?
If it's at all possible, if there are any better ones that could be obtained, I think we might need an update on this machine.
Yes, I mean, we've had this one 2 years. It's almost new.
Oh.
But I will see what I can do, ma'am.
Thank you.
They're really amazing, aren't they?
They really are, but I don't like that we can't touch the table after it's been set up.
I will make inquiries.
Thank you.
Maybe we could have just a specialized table made at some point, Maddie, that, we just leave it set up on, and then we just don't touch it forever.
Except for when we have to change out
the things, yeah. Whatever
Yes.
they're called.
Mm-hmm. And then a fence around it afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can get this started. Everybody, good morning, welcome. Have
Morning.
a seat.
Tea.
And
Yes, please.
Yes, please. I have a little bit of news. I had a visitor this morning. Interested in collecting that book.
There's this look that Irene has turned to Maddie. There's this weird look on her face. Oh.
But, it was a different person from last time. He claimed to be collecting it on the behalf of Bidwell. But he moved much the same way. He seemed to be more in control of himself, though. But he's just reminded me of the way Henry Yates had been moving when I saw him last.
He's jumping from person to person.
This gentleman, I'm using that term lightly, what seemed to be a ruffian, perhaps someone who just lived off the streets. And does somewhat fragrant, we'll say. But I advised him I'd have a copy ready for him shortly after lunchtime. So, there you have it.
So we are on the clock, as it
Oh.
seems.
I'll also mention I decided to purchase a straitjacket because I thought that might be useful in restraining said individual.
have you received it yet?
Yes. One of the perks of being a doctor.
Do we want to take care of that before we listen to this, or do we want to listen to this first?
He's not going to arrive till after lunchtime.
Yes, and we should give this a listen first and foremost, since we couldn't listen to it last night.
All right, I am going to attempt to turn it on and play the phonograph.
Okay, you have 2 phonographs. One dated December 21st, 1886, and the second dated January 23rd, 1887. Which one would you like to play first?
The older one.
Okay, so as you set it going, the sound quality is bad. It's crackly, the voices are distorted, and there's patches where it just goes for a little bit and you lose sound. But as it starts playing, you recognize a voice. Distorted version of the voice, but I think Irene, Maddie, and Franco would all recognize the first voice on the recording as Charles Belfont. You can undo the restraints, you know. Molly is just outside. I think I shall keep them on for now, after last time. The second voice, Mortimer, Irene, and Morgan... No, not Mortimer, you weren't there. Morgan and Irene and Franco recognise as that of Dr. Lake. And there's a bit of a crackle, and then... Oh, come on, that was just a little fun. If I wanted to hurt you, you would know, and the restraints wouldn't stop me. All the same, we shall keep them on for now. As you wish. So, Doctor, what is it you want to know? Are the ones below still ignoring you? I don't presume to know what you are talking about. And there's another kind of... You lose a bit of the sound as the distortion fills the recording. And then you get Charles's voice back again. I know you go out onto the cliffs. Molly's seen you. Molly should not be talking to you about such things. Oh, don't blame her. You know how charming I can be. And again, the recording's filled with distortion. And it almost sounds for a moment like the crashing of waves or water. And then you get Charles's voice back again with, I could introduce them if you'd like. I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to me. And then what sounds like choking and coughing. More distortion. And then the recording ends.
Should I play it again, or should we listen to the other one?
I think the other one first. We can listen to them later again if we need to.
Agreed.
And I will ever so gently attempt to swap out the phonograph pieces to play the second one.
And you have to do a little bit of delicate fiddling around. I'm so tempted to make me a luck roll here, please. Are you feeling lucky?
Extremely.
Yeah, no problem at all. Without a glitch, you manage to get the second recording playing. And it picks up, again, bad sound quality, again, a lot of distortion. And it picks up with Dr. Lake's voice. So, Mr. Belfont, how are you today? Oh, well, thank you. It's Bidwell coming back. I do so miss our chats. I was telling you all about Father's library the other day. Did he show any interest? Oh, you know how hard it is to tell. He made some noises that might have been words. But he's not all I could wish for in a conversational partner. But you didn't bring me here to talk about Bidwell, did you? No, I didn't. I wanted to ask about your father. You said before there was someone who taught him about, you can say Dagon. Right, yes, about Dagon, who first told your father about Dagon. If you're looking for a teacher, you're out of luck. How so? Wallace is dead. My sister killed him. Why? Because Father told her to. Augusta always did what she was told. Well, mostly. There was that one time with the neighbour's daughter, but Father forgave her for that. So, this Wallace, the one who taught your father, who was he? Respectable gentleman, a knight of the realm. Good old Sir John Wallace. My father worked for him in Malta when he was in the Foreign Office, long before my time. But good old Wallace was looking for an apprentice, and my father was just in the right place at the right time. John Wallace, the historian. One and the same, yes, but as I said, he's dead, and you won't find what you're looking for there. What do you think I'm looking for? I don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with the and the recording just ends there as someone just pulled the needle off. And I'll offer everyone a listen check there at the end. If you wish.
Awesome.
Hard success.
Success.
Okay. So those of you who are not Irene or Morgan, unfortunately, made out the last line as being, I think it has something to do with the veins. And save me having to ever try and remember everything I said there, I'm adding what was on those phonograph records to your handouts.
Thank you.
It's recorded, so you can listen back to it in your own time. Not an actual recording, it's just text. I'm not that fancy.
It's an actual recording, though.
Oh god. I mean, this is a recording. You can actually listen back to the recording.
We wanted to.
If you wanted to, yes. But what I mean to say is there is a transcript in the handouts to make life easier.
Well, that was all rather strange. It does sound as if the doctor's losing his mind as much as his patient is.
No, they've not lost their minds. I mean, to a degree they did, but not completely.
There was something at the end about the veins. I only just caught that.
Mm-hmm.
None of it actually makes any sense to me.
Particularly vain people?
And some reference to Dagon, which is something I've not heard of before.
Oh, Dagon's nasty. And don't say his name. I won't after this.
Yeah, it's Father and Mother Hydra.
Arthur D and Mother H.
Mm-hmm. The Belfonts made sacrifices of people and threw them into the Thames.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Never mind.
You're thinking of a story, aren't you?
Yes, I do.
How could you not?
Exactly. Oh,
Okay. I need to go look up what it could possibly be. I'll be back. I'm going to go to my room and look through my nameless cults book.
Be careful.
What are you
I'll
looking
try.
for?
He mentioned veins, so I'm looking for anything that might. Nothing.
Nothing in the nameless cults.
there's nothing about that would have sounded familiar to me, considering what book I've got.
Nothing's coming from your books. I mean, you know a family called the Vanes, but nothing that stands out in your books. They're a well-to-do London family.
Not another shipping one, is it, by any chance?
Pardon?
Not another shipping one?
No, the Vanes aren't in shipping. They're not in trade. They are proper aristocrats, yes. Lord and Lady Vane. In fact, they would probably have been acquaintanced with the Davenports and the Greys in society. Yeah.
And the Wards.
And that's what I meant, the Wards, not the Greys. My mind was on portraits.
Too many names.
Yes, they... In fact, you're fairly sure your sister was friends with one of the Vanes at some point, but there's... You know how it is with these aristocratic families, there's main branches of the family and side branches of the family, and all that sort of stuff.
All I know about the Vanes, it seems to be the name of a family that's quite well known. I think my sister is acquainted with them, but I'm not sure if that fits the reference on that recording.
I don't know. Your sister's having a party, isn't she?
Yes, it's her 10th wedding anniversary coming up soon.
I return at about that point to tell them there's nothing about it in the book.
Do you have other books that are similarly odd?
Not to the same degree, but I can always check again. Keeper, do I have other books?
You also have Monsters and Their Kind.
That's right.
Emphasis on the Y.
Yep.
Yes, that's
Yes.
somewhere in the Society's collection. And a bunch of lead tablets, which are not technically books, but do have writing on them.
That we keep extremely protected.
Yeah. Let's say, Morgan, you would also be aware of the Vane family as, like, aristocrats and know of their existence. They've not crossed the, like, PI radar, really, I don't think, but they're a respected family.
Yeah, the name Vane does ring a bell indeed. I don't know if I met them or if I spoke to them, but yeah, the name ring a bell. Mr. Davenport, do you think they will be present at your sister party?
Very likely. They tend to hold big parties. There's a lot of people who turn up who are invited and a lot who don't. Well, who turn up who aren't invited, I should say.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me if they'd invite pretty much every member they can of the nobility, we'll say. Certainly interesting people who will be there.
And the John Wallace they mentioned in the phonograph recordings, does that ring a bell to someone?
That's Maddie's
All right.
relative,
Yeah.
the one
Okay.
that bequeathed us the mansion and the manor, and with the sole purpose of trying to protect London from people of a cultish nature acting in bad faith or trying to end the world.
All right. I'm sorry to speak about this. I know it's hurtful for you, Miss Carter. But Knight of the Realm.
I'm sorry. I was trying to think. What did I miss?
Miss Sir Wallace, he was Knight of the Realm. Like knight, or does it has another meaning?
It's basically saying he's got a knighthood, so that he's a sir.
Sir
So,
John Wallace.
Yeah, it just means he's got a knighthood. Charles is just being overly Charlesy in his way of talking.
He was mostly known for his historian search of knowledge, but was he in one of the wars? You're muted.
He was knighted for his services in the Foreign Office. It wasn't clear what his services were, but he was operating abroad as some sort of diplomat.
And I will repeat that to everybody.
And I seem to recall something about the veins. Cecil is wanting to marry Lucy Vane. He's intending to propose soon, I think. They've been invited to the party.
He was here yesterday.
Oh, he
was?
Has he asked yet?
He's planning to ask at the party.
Oh.
And he said that he does still have to speak with her father, but his intention is to ask at the party.
Then I think we might have to go to a party. I think. Dr. Davenport.
Yes, Lady Irene.
Would you mind accompanying me to your sister's 10-year anniversary party?
I wouldn't mind at all. It would be my pleasure. But, I do have one question, though. This is all slightly confusing. Is this the sort of thing you tend to deal with often?
I am going to look at Irene.
What do you mean by deal with?
Oh, this seems a bit more than a murder.
Yes.
It's not as straightforward as, this is the murderer, hand him over to the police.
Yes, it tends to always never be that simple when it's something involving esoteric society business. It's never just the butler. Hence why I thought it was funny that the butler did it.
So who wants to come to the party? Or who wishes to, at least.
Well, I would be interested, but I have never learned how to behave in such a situation. I do not own clothing that would fit such a situation.
Oh, don't worry for that. We can go to your shop and buy you something if you like to. It's on the house.
As to behaving, just smile and nod. It usually works. That's what I do.
I'll stay close to you and to be sure you don't do something stupid, all right?
Who shall be my escort?
King Honor.
Oh, that was an interesting fight. Pistols are down?
I'm not competing in this one. I doubt it will be nice for her to come accompanied by me, you know?
Then you will both be my escorts, I guess. clothing, we can have that taken care of very quickly. But we do have something to do in a few hours.
We do.
Sure.
When's the party?
I believe.
Early evening?
Yeah, it would be early evening. Yes, it's today. I believe.
Night?
If I have my days correct, potentially tonight. Yes.
And how long away is the after lunchtime?
Oh,
You've got a few hours. You've got the whole of the morning to go till after lunchtime. So.
Then we need to take care of clothing now. James, do we have any suits that might fit?
What?
Franco will look like a deer in the headlights.
He's quite tall. I don't think any of Sir John's old stuff would fit him.
You know what? Let me take him to the tailor. We'll find something. Come on, boy.
Sure.
See you
No problem.
later.
All right, you're going shopping.
Yeah. Got to make him presentable, you know?
Yes. Could you give me a credit rating roll here? So this is the quality of the attire that can be acquired at short notice for one Franco.
All right.
Let's see if you can get something that's good, or if there's a few shortcuts that have to be taken.
Mm-hmm. Credit. Success it is.
You can get something as nice as you wish for him, depending on how you want to attire him.
Do you have a color preference?
No. What would fit by society, I guess?
So I will ask to...
I think black pretty much at this time. Unfortunately, we're into the Victorian era where men's clothing lost all its colour.
So black it is.
Black with black on black. Sounds
Yep.
good.
Alas, the glorious colours of earlier eras are gone.
Don't forget the ties and the
waistcoats
cloths can
and-
have
Cravats,
colors.
waistcoats.
Yeah, you still have a waistcoat with some style to it, I think.
Yeah. You want a hat too?
Sure. I mean, fits, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Hey, you classy like that. Okay, we'll take the hat too.
And then
Is it-
probably also the barber right on the way. And
Yeah, get tidied up.
show back up, presentable.
Franco all tarted up.
Yep, and we'll pass by my office as well, and I will change waistcoat in the place to my black waistcoat like usual. I will take a woolen waistcoat on the colors of the black watch with the scarf who goes with it, and over it I will take a black coat, you know, to hide a little.
Okay. So, as everyone's making their preparations for the evening's party, what's going on with the book collection? What's the plan with that?
Which book collection?
Well, you have, after lunch, you have a gentleman
thought you meant
returning to collect
a collection
nameless
of
coals.
books rather than
No,
collecting
oh no,
a
no.
book.
I
just
see. I
confused.
see now how that could be misconstrued.
I'll attend as well. I'll go with you to help to the best of my ability.
Do we manage, Franco and I, to be able to attend as well, or too short on time?
It's up to you. You can plan your shopping trip around attending. Because you could always, make some measurements and then come back in the afternoon to actually collect the finished articles.
All right, we'll do that.
Well,
But you don't
I'll
have
be
a
heading
hat
back
yet.
to my shop anyway.
All right, so who is going to be there shortly after lunch when this man's expected to return? The whole gang?
Yeah.
My assistant would have left because she would have finished
Yes.
lunchtime.
She's. If it's all right, sir, I get to head off.
By all means, enjoy your
Thanks.
afternoon.
Yep. Pleasure to meet you all.
Pleasure to meet you.
And as she heads off after her lunch, there's just the 5 of you in this bookshop, waiting for a visitor to arrive. What exactly are you doing? Like, where are people standing? Like,
I'm standing behind some bookshelves away from the window, browsing the books, but not really moving too much so that I'm not seen by anyone coming into the store.
There would be, I'm trying to think now how to explain. The door into the store actually goes in from the side, like there's an entranceway and it goes from there into the store, so there is quite a few blind spaces the way the shelves are arranged in the store. There's also a curtained off doorway that leads into the kitchen on the ground floor as well. So potentially there's the kitchen area and just behind shelves. There might be an idea for someone to be behind the shelves near the door, so after
I will do that.
After the gentleman comes in, it'd be possible for that person to lock that door, which is a new door from those who've attended this shop before. It's very different on the inside now, and it does have a new front door, quite sturdy, solid.
Is there an area with newspapers and stuff like that, or do you just have like books?
Books.
Books. So
basically, around the edges of the room will be shelves, and every now and again there'll be shelves that basically point into the room, making little alcoves around the room. And in the centre of the room will be a table which will have the latest releases of the most popular books at the time. And at the end of the far room will be a counter with a cashier's till. And it's behind there is the curtained off doorway that leads to the kitchen.
I think Franco would sit on the table in the middle and read a book that he would never be able to afford anyway. And probably miss the entire situation doing that.
So Franco's sat on the table in the centre reading a book. Maddie's lurking behind some shelves out of sight.
I'll be close to the till, though.
Close to the till. Mortimer?
I'll be at the till.
At the till. Morgan and Irene.
I'll be hidden behind a shelf near the door, like this. When the individual will enter, I will close it behind him.
Okay. And
Irene.
The straitjacket will be under the counter. Would we need it?
Okay. And Irene, where are you lurking?
Irene is going to try her best to hide herself near where Morgan is, just in case we need a sturdy sword.
Okay, those of you who are hiding and attempting to be unseen, can I have a stealth roll from you here?
Yes.
Yeah, how suspicious this shop looks.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Oh, I will pay my 5 points of luck here.
Okay, 5 points.
Oh,
of
that's
luck.
that's too many points for me. That's a really
Yeah, Irene Franco, I mean, you said you were just sat in the middle of the shop, so...
Sure, I'm just inconspicuously reading a book.
Yeah.
Hidden behind a book.
That's the critical success. No one notices you. There's, oh, that's an interesting looking book title. Okay, so...
My skirt's visible.
Yeah, you're definitely visible if someone were to walk in, but,
Has anyone got any weapons? Just
Got a sword?
thought it'd be a good idea to know beforehand.
No
Oh.
weapons.
Oh.
I can do something, though.
Yeah, I won't have any weapons on me.
I will have brass knuckles.
okay. Alright, so... It's not long after lunchtime when the door to the shop opens, and a figure lurches in, bringing with him this fragrant odor, this mix of human waste and alcohol and sewage. It's just layered. You can always taste it in the air as he comes closer.
The smell of the city.
The city.
Or the streets.
The streets, when someone's also poured several bottles of gin onto the streets and then left them to marinade for several hours. As he steps into the shop, see him glance around and he wanders straight up past Franco towards the counter where Mortimer is. Yeah. Have you got it?
Yes, here it is. And I'll just place it on the counter in front.
He reaches out for it and goes to open it.
Oh, actually, that could be the copy. And I'll
Lurches forwards towards Mortimer and goes to place a hand essentially grab you by the collar.
And I would, at that point, I would like to use my domination of the will.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, hold still.
All right. You've read a lot about this spell, not really put it into practice. I'm going to need a power roll from you here. What we're after here is a hard success. This is the first use of a magic spell, of this particular magic spell.
Mm-hmm. Am I rolling the green or the purple?
That would be
the green or the
one.
purple.
Yes, you don't have any bonus die in play.
Well, there we go.
Oh.
That
Hard
is
success.
a hard success.
And that is... Where's my magic points? That's a spend of 1 magic point and 1 sanity.
Yes, 1 point of sanity. And let me just... Oh. So, you have now successfully worked out how to... you force your mind out towards this man's. And you understand this spell now. The bits click into place. You now can consider this a spell you know, which makes it easier for future casting. But it does not seem to have any effect. You feel as you reach out to this mind, you feel this mind push back, and you feel it. It's almost like a tangible wriggling sensation against your own mind as it pushes back against your attempts to dominate it. And for however strong your will was, their will was stronger. And at this point, I'm going to start at the top of the order of who is the fastest person presently in the room. Morgan, with your dexterity of 70, you have an opportunity to do something here. You can see that the man has reached out and grabbed Mortimer by the front of his collar.
Yeah, so if I can do something, I would have closed the door. And when I saw this, I will have go to Mortimer behind the back of the guy, and I will kick just behind his knees. Like this, he will fall over.
All right, this sounds like a fighting brawl going on here. let's see. I'm going to make this. I'm going to do this fighting brawl in return. So, let's see. This is essentially a maneuver you're trying to. So you're trying to bring him down rather than injure him. Yeah.
I don't want to injure it too much.
All right, let's make it a fighting brawl. I think that still seems fair.
Oh.
You do not manage to bring him down, and instead, as he's holding Immortal in one hand, his other fist just swings round as you're trying to like creep up on him, and you feel as the weight of this man's fist just thuds into the side of your face, as his fighting back was more successful than yours.
And I cannot dodge this.
No, this is his combat against your attack.
Okay.
So, let me just double check what this guy's. Yeah, Roll20 does not seem to be on your side at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that would be 5 hit points lost. This great fist comes round and plows into the side of your face. As now on his turn, he's attempting to drag Mortimer forwards over the counter. Mortimer, you can attempt to try and like dodge and wriggle out of this, or to try and fight back and like. You're muted. As he's attempting to like get like before he just like got his hand towards your collar, now he's trying to get like a solid grip and just drag you over the counter.
I'll try to throw the other copy. Not the one he had looked at, but I'll try to throw the other one. Just out of his reach to some point in the shop, but I'll probably try to escape his grip if that's possible.
Yeah, give me a, well, depending on how you're trying to do this, I have to say this is either a dodge, try and be more, it's just, if you're focused on just escaping his grip, I'd say this is a...
He's already got hold of me, hasn't he, so...
Or dex, yeah. Make this a dex roll. See if you can get out of this. Yes, you managed to break free of his grip, and now we're through onto the people... Oh no, we've got a 55 at the dex, so as Mortimer breaks free of this guy's grips, Maddie, you are next up. You're muted.
I'm muted.
Yes.
I am going to take the heaviest book at hand on the shelf next to me, and I am going to throw it at his head.
All right. That sounds like a throw roll to me. This book goes sailing past and hits like the bookshelf on the far side with a loud clatter. And now we're round to the set of people with dexterity 50. So that's Mortimer, Franco, and Irene. It's up to you who wants to go first, but I think Mortimer already had an intention. So you said you wanted to throw the other copy.
Yeah, I was just going to throw the other copy out of his reach, so not the copy he's looked at, but the book that looks identical.
You know what? Let's see how good you are at throwing books.
Now, if only I'd put some points into this, it might have been interesting.
You bring you the 1887 edition of London's annual book throwing competition, and no, it kind of bounces off the side of the desk and lands back, like at his feet. Like he's no further away.
Oh well.
Franco and Irene, what are you doing?
Lady Irene is going to... The intention is going to be to, since I obviously saw the book throw happen, so I kind of get what Mortimer's trying to do here. The sword comes out and there is a rush to go and grab the book in that kind of harried way.
I mean, this guy is still busy clubbing Morgan and trying to fight Mortimer, so he's not... There's nothing actually stopping you from grabbing this book if that's what you want to do.
Oh. But yeah, I'm gonna grab the book and I'm gonna rush. The whole intention is to make it look like I'm trying to get the book as far away from creepy McCreeperson here.
So are you trying to go out towards the front of the shop in the street, or further into the shop in like the back room or the kitchen?
Further into the shop, because we need to keep this guy isolated. The idea is to bait him into following.
All right. Franco, over to you.
Would use the chaos to sneak up on the guy from behind, and then.
I mean, this is a very small shop, though.
I mean, he's kind of busy.
You are part of this chaos, so yeah, this will be a fighting brawl.
Sure. There you go.
He is outnumbered, so he has got disadvantage on fighting back.
This is not enough.
So he doesn't manage to land a hit on you because he's, there's more of you than him, and he's, as you're sort of piling on. But yes, you don't manage to get him. He's a big guy. This big, burly, very smelly man. And he rolls his shoulders. We're back round to Morgan at the top of the round.
So I'll be a little squeaky, but I'm a former army, so I will say, "Oh, that's how it is, laddie. We're going to play now." And I will just jump on it and just hit him this time, but quite on the face now. No, don't try. I'm pissed off now.
All right, yeah. All right, give me a fighting brawl then. Let's this fist's flying, this book's flying, the shop is in chaos.
It's the green one. Are we the green or the purple one?
The green one. The green one.
Oh.
Hey, that's more like it. Yeah. That is an extreme success. So.
I told you I was pissed off.
Extreme. So what is the maximum? I think the maximum you could roll here on your fist is a 3. So yeah, just roll me the 1d4 for your damage bonus, because you're getting the maximum on the actual base damage here, because that's an extreme success.
So 1d4.
1d4.
And where is it here? 1d4. 4.
Ooh. A mighty 7 points total. As his head just goes back with a and he is staggers on his feet for a moment. That is but he's staying on his feet and he's staying conscious. That was a major blow though. And you see his eyes sort of looking around as he realizes that there's a lot more of you than there are of him. And he is going to try and make a break for the door and get out of here. So the door is... So he's sort of goes push his way past Morgan and Franco. And I think... And Irene is there as well, I think, I'm trying to keep track of who is up there. A person would be in the way. Mm-hmm. So as he pushes to the door, you can try and attempt to stop him if you would like. Essentially, he's trying to get out of there.
I'd like to try using my Dominate Will again.
Okay, all right. In which case, that'll be a power roll from you, and another drop of sanity, and then the drop of magic.
There is another hard success.
All right, and what is your instruction this time?
Stop.
It's not a higher success on his end. So as he's running forwards towards the door, dodging out of the way of Franco's attack. As Maddie's voice rings out, the man stumbles to a halt for a moment, against his own will. What's everyone doing?
Straight jacket.
Yep.
Grab him,
The
grab him.
straitjacket.
Grab and hold.
Okay, I'm going to ask here, essentially, everyone who's getting involved in the trying to get this guy into a straitjacket, give me a strength roll here. Basically, are there enough of you to get him manhandled into this before Maddie's control wears off?
You get those 2 points from me.
Do I won't have an advantage in this at anything at all.
No, I'm just asking. Basically, this is a combined one. If enough of you are doing well enough, this will be a success.
I've got an extreme.
Okay, so with the arguable help of the others involved, Franco's helping a bit. Irene and Mortimer maybe getting in the way more than helping. Morgan, you are able to get the straitjacket on this man before Maddie's control breaks. Maddie, as you feel your brief control of this man's mind slip away, Morgan, you got the buckles done, and you have this man restrained. He's sort of thrashing against his bonds, wriggling and writhing as though he's trying to break free, but to no avail. You have succeeded in your kidnap attempt.
Well, we have him.
So I have a reason to believe that, what was his name again?
Who?
Who?
The man who passed away at the seance.
Bidwell.
What was his?
Bidwell.
Bidwell.
Yes.
I have a feeling that Bidwell is inside that body. Do we know how to remove? Do I know how? Do I know how to remove spirits from a body, like a possession?
You have an incantation in your possession to attempt to swap your mind with someone else, but you've never actually used it. You've never, as far as I'm aware, ever exorcised the spirit from anyone's body. It's just new territory.
New territory.
What do you mean this guy's been hypnotized to believe he is John Bidwell?
No, not hypnotized.
Well, actually, no, he
Possessed.
said he was collecting it for Bidwell.
Possessed. There's a difference. Right, Irene?
There is a difference. Something is within this person.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Mortimer's going to look really confused because this doesn't happen. But we'll see.
It wriggles back and forth.
So, what's the plan?
Originally with Yates, we were hopefully going to wrestle things back, figure out what was going on, get the prism.
Okay, so how about I try it one more time, and then you guys try to get answers from him. We need to know where the prism is, and then we need to confirm that this is Bidwell inside this body. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I am going to... I have been gesturing at Irene for all of this. So you ask the questions and I will make him answer. And I am going to use I am going to look very scarily at the man in the straitjacket and then use my domination of will. I want to be able to pass. Does the intimidation help?
The intimidation will not help with the domination of will here. These are
Okay. All right, well, I'm still going to try the domination of will. So that is power. That is a success.
Let's see.
But
How
I
well
need
they're
to
doing
have
their
a hard
You
success.
You only needed a hard success the first time round. That was your bar you were passing.
Mhm.
As of now, what you're trying to do is beat their level of success. So, well, this depends on what they rolled.
They rolled an 85.
They rolled an 85, which is not a hard success for them.
No.
Not even a success. Almost, but not quite.
All right. So my command to him is to answer their questions.
Actually, it would be a base success. Hang on, let me just double check whether you need to beat their level or get the same one as theirs.
Okay.
Because that is a success for them.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of power here. Domination of will. Okay, you've got this brief moment of control, I think. I need to double check the opposed ones, what happens when you both get the same. I can't actually remember.
Okay, so a very brief control. Okay, and I am going to put as much force behind this, and I'm going to say to him, answer their questions, emphasizing the plural.
Yes. You feel, for this moment, you've got essentially, domination of will essentially asks for about a round, which is a nebulous length of time outside of combat, but you've got very brief control in which, yes, it has to answer their questions for this briefish time.
And I'm snapping.
Who are you?
Yuck.
Okay.
That's a person, not a place. Where's the prism?
No. Here.
Cube.
And the control fades, Maddie.
Wait.
Not long
You said
enough.
not here.
Not here.
Where is Bidwell?
I don't have control of him anymore. He's not going to answer.
Bidwell is far, far away. In Jakob.
Well, at least he got to where he wanted to go.
Thing is in his place?
So, what are you then, if you're not Bidwell? Or who are you?
I mean, the who you answered already. It's just not pronounceable for us.
Your mouth range.
Lady Irene's gonna look at Maddie. And
As if-
she's starting to take the gloves off. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm sorry if I start going mad.
Can we do something to help you?
No one's ever been able to help before. And she is going to grab the being by the head.
Okay.
This is gross.
Please give me a roll here.
Mediumship. I will spend the points. I will spend those 10 points.
Okay. You So, you succeed. And you feel your mind sort of falling. It's this rush of distance and space. Stars don't make sense to you, but you've seen in your dreams. Glimpses of strange, writhing creatures. Buildings whose geometry is so far distant from humans that your mind struggles to comprehend the angles involved, struggles to comprehend exactly what's going on. All sort of seen through this almost crystalline prism, as though you're looking out through it. And before I say any further, I am going to ask for a sanity roll here. As your mind is pushed.
Oof.
D6? Is that what you need?
That was just a dream. This is reality. You are seeing into an alien world. So far, far away. I'm going to need you to roll me a d20, please, here, Lady Irene. That will be 10 points of sanity lost. As you see this world, and you see this world where this thing came from. And you see a flash of this thing being pulled, wrenched from its world, and you catch brief, confused glimpses of through another's eyes, through the eyes of someone who's being dragged away, someone who's being locked away, someone who's struggling in panic, and then slowly learning the ways, the workings of this strange, fleshy new body it's been pushed into. And then it is once again set free to return to its own world, until 2 nights ago, when it was pulled back here once more. Pulled back into Bidwell's body. And then you see Yates coming towards you. You see Yates trying to take the cube. They can't take the cube. You need the cube. The cube is needed. And as your head strikes the corner of the fireplace, the world tips and sways and the perspective changes, so you're looking down at Bidwell. Your hand still on the cube as you plunge the poker down into his chest and flee into the night. But this is all fragments of a struggling mind here, because I think the loss of 10 points, Lady Irene, might actually, unfortunately, where did you start off with here?
I think I'm definitely temporarily insane here.
Oh, I'm trying to work it. So, you lost 3 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now on... What are you now on?
13 now? That we
13
lost?
is... So what is your current sanity?
39.
39. Okay, so you were on... Hang on. 49...
52.
52. Just recalculating a threshold there. You are still blissfully above the indefinite insanity limit. So I will instead be asking for an intelligence roll here to see how much of what you just saw you comprehended. Oh, you were able to kind of gloss over some of the details there. You're not actually insane at the moment. You have to hold it off as your mind comes crashing back down to earth. And you see the stranger staring back at you.
Gonna let go. He's from the place that you could see in the cube. Bidwell went there. This thing's now here. It doesn't want to be here.
Want to go home.
Yes, it wants to go home, and that's why it needs the nameless cults, but the way that it would want to go home would probably cause this entire world to go with it. I'm gonna go stand over here. And you can do what you like.
Would it also go home if we just destroyed the body?
No, it was in Bidwell. Bidwell died, and then it went into Yates's body.
But then that doesn't explain why Yates killed Bidwell.
This is not Yates. This is not Yates's body.
No, I mean, if this creature was in Bidwell's body, and it went over to Yates's body when Bidwell died, that means Yates killed Bidwell, not under this creature's control.
To clarify, what you saw, Irene, was Yates pushed Bidwell.
Yeah.
Bidwell was injured, then it jumped, and then finished
That's
off
my
the
bad.
job.
No, it Yates was trying to get the cube from him. There was a tussle. Bidwell got shoved and got hit in the head. That was all accidental. And then the thing jumped and then killed Bidwell.
Okay.
So what I am understanding is that he needs to die of his own hand or of natural causes and be completely unconnected to anyone at the time of death so that he can be released.
Throw him in the Thames.
No, throwing him into the Thames will have you connected to him. You would have caused his death. He would take over your body.
I mean, he would have drowned. Water would have caused his death.
You would have caused his death.
I have a question. Who here currently believes what is going on?
I've got no idea.
Those of you who believe that this is a serious case of there is a being from another world that is inhabited this person, I need a sanity roll off you, please, as the kind of, oh god, comes crashing down. Of like, it's been mounting, but this is...
Could I do an intelligence test to see if I believe this?
Yeah, if not, I'm keeping track of all the weight of the sanity for the day you do believe.
So, yeah, if I roll, say, an intelligence one to see if I believe this, and then try that way. Let's see. Oh, yep, I believe it, so that'll be a sanity roll.
Yes.
Everyone has failed.
That'll be a D6 from everyone then, please. As the basically,
I'm guessing
you
I can't
realise you're
use...
sat here discussing methods to kill an alien interloper that is inhabiting a man's body, and you can all. There's just a briefest pause at the moment where you lock eyes with each other, and the true insanity of this situation. Oh, Maddie.
Oh no, Maddie, no.
Can I have an intelligence roll off Maddie, please?
What do I need to type in to roll a d6 on this?
There's a little dice on the corner that you can hover over and...
Or /R space 1d6. Oh, and Irene, I need another intelligence check from you, please.
Oh,
Should all roll in sixes.
And an intelligence roll from Mortimer, please.
oh, this is not going well.
Franco, you've lost 1 point of sanity, but you are not undergoing a bout of madness. What did Morgan get on his D6?
I didn't.
He didn't? What
No,
did you get
because
on
I
your
did-
turn?
Because I didn't believe. I still don't believe.
You've already seen things. You are a believer. It's more of, are you a believer at all in the unknown and the strange?
Okay.
You know enough to know that there's strange things out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
more those who are clinging to blissful ignorance, which is none of you anymore.
so sanity roll.
Sanity, please.
Success.
You're they're overreacting. Like, you've seen weirder shit. Well, actually, you haven't, but you've.
I lived weirder shit. I
Yeah,
will
you've
say
lived with
later.
weirder shit. You are keeping it together quite well. Meanwhile, Franco's a little bit disturbed, and the three intellectuals in the room have each lost, 5, a 6, and a 6 points of sanity. All three are now currently undergoing a bout of madness. Now, I'm going to ask for a D10. I'm going to do it purely by random this time. Lady Irene, I believe this actually does tip you into indefinite insanity for the time being. Lady Irene, you'll be picking up a new phobia or mania.
Yay.
I'm trying to think what a good fear or an obsession would be to suit this circumstance.
Phobia of night sky.
I think I'm going to give you a choice here, Irene. Either an obsession with the stars and the night sky or an absolute fear of it.
I like the idea of the obsession. I like that.
This fascination with it, this overwhelming urge to know more, this hunger for knowledge. And you've seen it once and you so want to see it again. You feel just an inkling of what you think Bidwell felt after having seen the Yekub once. That overwhelming hunger and desire to return and to see what's out there in the stars. But for the moment, you're just overwhelmed by everything that's going on around you. You're just replaying and reliving what you just saw in your mind over and over. Maddie, on the other hand, this is too much.
I just got back.
Yeah. And you watch as Maddie just leaves. She just, sets down what she does and just is out of there. Off into the streets of London. This is too much. This was day one. And she just flees in panic. And Mortimer, you, on the other hand, this rage fills you, this red mist. You're angry. You're not even sure who you're angry at or what you're angry at here, but you don't know if you're angry at this smelly, filthy man in front of you who has driven you to this, or at these people who brought you into this mess. But you feel this urge. You're hitting somebody. I'll leave it your choice who. You're muted.
Okay. Who's closest to me?
All pretty close, but yeah. That's Franco's volunteered. Yeah.
I will just hit Franco and aggressive. You just see him as a complete red mist over.
I will not defend myself. I would not have expected that to happen.
Okay. Roll me the damage on a hit then.
You sure you don't want me to try and hit him?
Oh, right. I mean, you could fail completely. Actually, even with him not resisting, you could fail. Thank you. You are not a natural. Yes. No. That is fair enough. I guess your fist just like swinging
I
around.
failed to throw a book across the room and I failed to punch someone right in front of me.
Yeah,
I'm not a natural
like,
fighter.
Not a natural fighter. Let's like trip over the fallen book from earlier and just
Could be.
land with a thud on the floor. And as minds begin to clear a little, you can just hear this wheezing, not quite laughter, but this wheezing sound coming from the man you have bound.
Just gonna kick him. He's in a human body. He needs to feel pain. I'm just gonna kick him.
On the shin?
Every point that is very.
Are you trying to cause damage to him?
No, I'm trying to cause pain. I grew up on the streets. I can do that.
Okay, so you're just kicking at this bound and helpless man. Is anyone intervening?
I'm too angry. I'll probably try and hit Franco again in this.
Irene's just kind of like, stop. He doesn't want to be here, but he's kind of stuck. At the same time, we can't let him hurt London.
So how do we get him back then?
So, I've got another question. Where is Yates?
Yates. The body or the mind?
Both?
The body is safe. The mind is dead.
The cube. Do you need it to get back to you, to where you come from?
You can't have it.
I don't want it. I just asked.
Need it. Yeah. At this point, the anger is fading from Mortimer and Irene. You've got to hold on yourself now. Maddie, you come to your senses, sort of a couple of streets away, like breathing heavily. It's up to you if you want to go back.
I do have a question before I make that decision.
Yes.
Am I indefinitely insane?
I don't know. Hang on.
Started with 21 points.
Oh god.
When we started game.
You are indefinitely insane.
I'm gonna keep going then.
one session.
This is why we can't have nice things. Oh.
How much sanity was lost?
With the powers and
You both. So Maddie lost 5. Mortimer lost 6.
Yep.
but I had lost a total of 4 points previously. So I lost a total of 9.
Oh, yes, because you were using it to dominate. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. Yes, that does eat into it.
I've lost a total of 19. Most
Yay!
sanity Irene's lost in seasons.
Ever.
You said you might on a little trip.
I did.
It's changed you.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. We need to get him back to the Esoteric Society. Maybe there's a basement we can put him in to talk to him more. Because we can't turn this over to Scotland Yard. They were after Yates.
I can take you to Yates if you let this body free. And the cube.
The way you go home has negative consequences for the place that we live in.
Just want to go home.
Is there a way for you to go home without the negative consequences for our existence?
You will not be harmed.
The rest of the planet?
Will not be harmed.
I want psychology on an alien.
Yes, this is going to be difficult. Very difficult. But yeah, give me a psychology check on the alien wearing a man's body. Please?
No,
I'm giving you the 2 for a hard success.
This thing... It's hard to get a read on, but you don't trust it. It seems to be taking pleasure in watching you, like, struggling with each other and watching you go insane, and you remember what Irene told you she saw and what the policeman said she saw with the force and with which it killed Bidwell's body, that it didn't need to.
Is Miss Carter has Miss Carter returned, or did she did not? Miss von Watts is still there. So I turn to Irene and ask him, can we destroy it? If we can't release it, get it home safely, can we destroy it?
Us.
If we cannot kill this, you want it sedated?
For the moment, that might work.
Okay, Keeper, would I likely have anything to sedate someone in my medical
I
kit?
think, given that you were
Like
preparing for a
chloroform?
kidnap here,
Chloroform?
yes, I think chloroform is not unreasonable. So you went into this planning to take a captive.
Yeah.
I wonder. It's kind of auspicious how it showed up. The seance, then this happened, and then maybe a seance can help take it back if we have the cue. But I'm starting to wonder if Bidwell wasn't already possessed by this thing. And that's why he was trying to get back.
It's likely because he spoke in a strange language when he was in the sanatorium.
Yes, he was from the recordings, and well, not the recordings, but from the notes, he couldn't even speak.
Indeed, yeah.
Would Bidwell actually have a book or some sort of notes made about his plan with the seance?
Well, there was the journal, and all he was trying to do was to get back to Yukub. That was the idea.
But what I'm getting at is a book that explained to him to use the seance in the first place. It just seems a bit strange to use a cube in a seance.
And
If he was possessed, maybe him, I showed the lad was taken. Maybe he showed him how to do it.
And he said he needed 13 people at the seance to make it work. That says something.
That still doesn't explain how we solve that issue now. As he's saying that Franco will look at the book that he read, and it would have been The Cask of Amontillado from Edgar Allan Poe. And then he would look up and say, could just wall him in and leave him there. We don't even know whether he dies if he doesn't eat. Some weird creature.
A keeper have probably decided to sedate or moving
Yes.
towards sedating
At
him
this
now
point-
with chloroform, unless anyone decides to stop me or tell me otherwise.
And he is restrained and can't really stop you at this, so as this thing collapses down into unconsciousness and,
Right.
all's quiet and still.
At least that works.
Definitely seems that the physical body responded as a human body would.
So what do we do? Take him back to the Esoteric Society and keep him there?
Until we can figure out what to do.
Let's go ahead and do that. And where's Maddie gone?
I will need to go and find her.
Will she run away?
She'll come back. She always does.
Keeper, they'd have phones around this time, wouldn't they?
Yes, I believe. It's not widespread, but yes. I think. I will have to double check that, but
Think
for the
it
time
they
being,
are,
until pending further research, we can assume that somewhere like the Esoteric Society would probably have a telephone.
I'm assuming because of like the level of credit and that involved, he'd have one here as well. Did you want to ring for a coach or something to come and collect this person?
Collect them, and yes, we will find some proper place to keep him under lock and key. I mean, at some point we might actually have to let him lead us to Yates and the cube.
I suspect he's killed Yates.
From what it sounded like, the
Whoever
body's
kills
still
him, it takes
alive,
over.
but the brain is gone.
Maybe it was too much for him after this one came out of him. Maybe it was too much and he just like his mind exploded.
Correct.
Yeah, if you want to look around for Yates, it's perfectly doable as well. But not obviously in this room, but in general, as in search the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carry on, yeah.
At some point, yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I think
But,
that's the plan.
Yeah, you call over your carriage, and your coachman asks no questions, because Bo has seen some weird shit. He just helps you pile this man into the back of the carriage.
Not a kidnap carriage.
It's a kidnap carriage.
I'm now
And
wanting to buy an extra carriage and call it the kidnap carriage.
that's when you know you're sure. We have the everyday carriage and the kidnap carriage. We only bring this one out for special occasions.
Yes.
And yes, as the kidnap carriage returns to Grosvenor Square, once at Grosvenor Square, again, James, with no questions, will let you into the house with your captive. And
Or James.
you're able to stash him somewhere safely for the time being. As you have one captive prisoner. You've had your minds awakened to the truth of the universe. And at least some of you have agreed to go to a party tonight.
In a few hours.
In a few hours' time. It's going to go splendidly.
But where's Maddie?
And
That's-
where is Maddie? Well, I think all this we will find out next week.